time because I do want a lot of interaction to happen. So I'm just going to ask you a question and just give me a response, and then let's formally start the Q&A process. All right? Is that all right? When should a blog think about monetization?
I'm going to start with my own experience from what I've learned over 3 years of blogging. The most important thing is monetization should be a focus from the start. After that, to many people who ask me how to earn money online, and no one is happy with my answer.
Okay.
So the thing is, sorry.
It's one of us 5 people up here.
So when you start a blog or you get into social media, you start any website, the main focus should be getting a lot of users. I'm going to take examples of Twitter and Facebook. Everybody uses them right here, right? So when these websites started, they had no forms of monetization, and they have to go to like a million users per month. So before they even thought they'll start monetizing.
Right.
So a lot of mistakes that bloggers do in Pakistan is that they don't have any genuine content on their blog yet, and they have ads already, and that's a big mistake we do. So that's not a good time. The best time is when you have a lot of readers, you know you have a loyal following, you have established yourself, you know people recognize you online, and then you know you can actually have a stable form of monetization right there.
Right. And now I'd like to just address the entire panel, including Badasab, if you can also mention. Facebook and Twitter, you talked about, Imran. A lot of people are unable to balance. So they say, oh, let's publish notes or something, or our blog posts on Facebook. Let's push it out on Twitter. I'm really confused. I don't know where to read my blog posts anymore. So how do you balance everything out and still maintain that your blog is the #1 place which is actually aggregating all your users? Isn't that a challenge? For all four.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I think Imran बहुत serious start किया था, so I'll go back to English in the interest of everybody. I'm sorry, my tone is very bad, but I think the main target should always be your landing page.
Okay.
Everything else is part of the syndication process. And 3 years back, Orkut used to be popular. Today it's Facebook. 3 years later, what will be popular, we don't know. So I think we need to focus on your own content and your own domain, and use these tools as and when they are popular and feasible. So I think not everything is probably feasible for Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, because they have their different audience, and I think that depends on where you want to publish that.
What about if you still have ads? For example, I know Aisha is here. You run thalassemia.pk, correct? .com.pk. So NGOs and people blogs that are more for activism. How do they? Because usually, I mean, I don't know how technical you are yourself, but I'm assuming that you would rely on the community to help generate that traffic. So is that a way that NGOs and not-for-profits and activist websites can actually generate and monetize?
So there are many ways, and some of the ways where these social causes actually monetize is either through direct advertising after traffic generation, or through issuing ebooks, white papers, and those kind of researches which become content baits, so that people are attracted. And as Imran highlighted, I think it's all about you need to follow the user, money will follow you.
Right.
So I think that's the rule. So if you are following the user, whoever your user is, I think you will have a sustainable traffic. And once you have a sustainable traffic, then you will think of how to monetize. So I think every blog is unique in terms of how they would monetize, or every website probably.
Okay, and once again, I'll announce again, if you have questions, and I'm sure you do, please don't curse me later on. I'm telling you, use the opportunity to ask the panel questions.
If I can make a question, I think if you can allow them to sit there and ask a question.
Sure, that's also okay.
Because I'm sure a lot of them don't want to move. They've been walking a lot yesterday. So,
especially if you were attending the map-ups.
Especially the Lahore guys who have traveled 21 hours on
Sure, if you'd like to, please just raise your hand and let's yes, please make it brief.
I'd like to walk to the mic because I'd like to be heard.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be on.
Oh, so then use the volume of your inner voice, I guess.
Okay. My question is to, my name is Ross Mahil, I work for an international media company. My question is to Shirazi Sahab, who said something about corporations hiring bloggers and paying them for writing the reviews.
Can you just repeat it? I just repeated for him.
Repeat what?
Oh yeah, so his hearing is, if you can just probably speak aloud and I'll repeat.
Okay, my question is to Shasta that he talked about something about hiring bloggers by corporations and then writing for them and writing product reviews to earn money. So would you like to emphasize on the ethical side of it? I mean, how ethical is it? So because people are reading blogs, they are considering these are the authentic comments of a blogger. So how do you see, paid blogging as an ethical issue?
Thank you. Thank you very much for asking these questions. Yes, if giving an advertisement on TV or putting your whole page in the print is ethical, then advertising on this new channel where now people are consulting is ethical too. Now, where comes the discrepancy and the debate which is going on the online world, that once I am recommending a product, is that ethical? Now here it is your own sweet judgment. You as a person who is writing should be able to give your fair and balanced opinion as far as the recommendation is concerned. As far as the corporate sector coming to you and asking for the advertisement, they are absolutely okay. Now it is the responsibility that rests with the blogger. Once he is giving his personal opinion, because this is my personal space. I write what I want to. I write, I don't like it, I should say I don't like it. If I like it, I should. No, this is my responsibility. And that is where the balance is coming. That is why I say, the Coca-Cola comes to me, I write about them. And the next day, Pepsi comes to me. I write about them too. Personally, what I do is, I give the facts, I give certain angles, and leave the audience, and leave the people, leave the readers to decide what they want to do. There is nothing unethical as far as this is concerned. This is what happened.
Badr and then Ong.
This is an interesting thing. I mean, corporations now, especially like in Indonesia, they've finally woken up that social media is important, so they want to get into that. And really getting people to write about them, review their products, is a legit way, but it's also actually a very easy shortcut for a lot of these corporations. Because if you look at the whole implications of social media, why I got into social media in the first place, because I started a very traditional PR company. And the whole implication of social media is that if you're a corporation, if you're a business, you can at some point talk directly to your customers. So you don't really need to go through the traditional media. Now, if you don't need to go through a traditional media, then the middlemen between businesses and the media, which are the PR people like me, the middlemen get cut out. Business is gone. That's why I went into social media. Now, so what I do now, I've reinvented our business. We're consulting to people on how to use this social media to reach their audiences. Depends. I mean, if it's a straight review and the reviewer has credibility, then it will carry through. The danger for the onliners, the bloggers, is that sometimes they start talking about products or services that they have no idea about. So, you know, if you're a sports blogger, all of a sudden you're reviewing something, you know, like
On iPad.
the iPad or whatever, and it's kind of like, well, what have you got to do with it? So, on that side. Now, on the side of corporations, really, and if some of you choose to take the route of making your money as consultants through your knowledge of social media, it's just this. Ultimately, if corporations want to be successful, they have to realize that they have to be their own publishers. To be an effective own publisher, they have to have a very distinct point of view. Because really, we live in a world of commoditization. Everybody sells the same stuff, everybody sells the same services. How do you differentiate yourself? You differentiate yourself by being different, thinking about it in a different way. Apple, for instance, Apple think differently. That's how they differentiate, because they think different, they do things differently, etc. They have a story to communicate.
And that's such a great soundbite for Imran's blog also, because his blog address is ithinkdiff.com.
So, you know, ultimately, corporations really have to think about what content, it's the content that's important. Then they could employ people to either blog on their behalf or write about it. But the old system of just getting endorsers, just to endorse their product, is very 1.0. In a 2.0 world, that goes only so far. It should be used with actually generating their product.
So integrity is what you're talking about. The integrity of the blogger is very, very important. Balthasar?
Right. Number one, as you said, the web 1.0 and 2.0 difference, I will take it as push versus pull difference. So the challenge is the conventional media was very push-based. You used to do conventional PR. The brand used to do a PR and expect that the media, which are their friendly media, would post it as it is, which is all praise and kind of good stuff about the brand. Social media is very interactive. So the moment you create your first fan page of a brand, and if you've been there for like 10, 15 years in a country, expect to be thrashed for the first few months. They'll come back with their battery problems if you're a laptop company, they'll come back with all kinds of problems there. And then they'll settle down because they know they can vent out on this page whenever needed. But just a little bit of difference of opinion from Sharisa. Just to put it in a more legislative perspective, the global kind of standard is the FCC regulation by the US, and now they require that if you do these kind of editorials, which are company sponsored, in which you are in some kind, you are being compensated, you must disclose them explicitly, first of all, which is not being practiced in Pakistan. Two, there is another difference between reviews which Ong mentioned. So there are two types of reviewers. One who copy-paste from different websites and amalgamate a different review. And then there are actual reviewers who get a product, either they buy it or they get free product from them for review, and then they have to send it back, and they're not compensated in any way by the company for that specific review. That is probably a very genuine way of getting the money. And lastly, I think I'll come back to the content part again, which Ong mentioned is, if you have the right content, people will automatically blog about it, and that should be the objective. If you have to probably employ bloggers, that means the content is not sticky enough. That people, so if you do a very good tweet, people would retweet automatically. You don't have to ask them. It's exactly the same way. So I think if your content is really genuine content, people will just follow and retweet or spread themselves as a viral thing. So I think that's the.
Once again, I'd just like to ask Imran to share his experiences, because I know you get a lot of requests, including a lot of bloggers who are in the audience, to review products. So is there, do you find that, I mean, how do you monetize that, and how do you use it to your advantage? And once again, the focus here has to be monetization, monetizing your social space. So if you can give kind of that perspective also. Once again, any questions you have? So this is the last part of that I'm going to talk about on corporate blogging and reviews, and then let's move on to, I want to talk about a little bit about SEO also and content from that perspective, because I know we've got a great team there. So Imran.
What happens on my website is that we get products for review from companies. One way is that we have a partnership with a local company, and they provide us products for review, and we send them back. How they benefit from this is that we market the price of the product and tell them how they can buy it from their website. And the second way we get products for review is companies from overseas, from US, Europe, they send us products for review, and we get to keep them. But the thing is, none of them ask us for, a review that should be a vast review. No one asks for that. We give our honest reviews, we point out the flaws, and that's how we work. And of course, the disclosure issue, that's really important. We always keep in mind to make sure that we disclose how we got the product. If it's our own, we remain product we bought, we disclose that. If we got the product for review, whether we're going to send it back or we get to keep it, we have to disclose that too. It's a very important issue, and you know, it can make you, I mean, it's on the borderline of ethics. If you don't disclose your source of the product and then you write a bad review, people are obviously, you know, next time they'll be more careful when come to your product.
How? Go
I
ahead.
mean, if you-
I was actually going to ask from an analytical, from an analytics perspective, and perhaps Ong, if you, Ong and Badasab, if you can talk about this. Do companies really care what, I mean, one is the integrity of the blogger himself. So Imran is a, you know, for example, he's a great reviewer. People send him products. But what about, do companies and corporations really care to ask you for your analytics? Is that something that they should keep a close watch on? And is there a way to kind of link both up together?
Well, yeah, I mean, they ask that all the time, how do I measure? You know,
Right.
companies are all, obviously, as a business, say, look, if I'm gonna spend $100, what's my, you know, ROI on it, my return of investment? And you could do all sorts of analytics, you know, you could use cloud, Alexa, Google Analytics, everything. It's totally measurable. But, you know, the whole important thing is, do they have anything to communicate? And really, you know, whenever clients talk to me about social media, my first question is, why do you want to use social media? Forget about Facebook, forget about blogs, forget about Twitter. Those are just platforms, those are technology. That's the last question you answer. The first question you answer is, well, you want to use social media? Why? What is your purpose? Is it to, one very important use of social media for corporations, is it to use it to listen to what the market is saying? That's a totally underestimated one. You can make money. Actually, we are making money by just social media monitoring, because all the platforms cannot pick up things in Indonesian. And I suspect they can't pick up things in Urdu, in Pakistan. So, you know, when Twitter or blogs and all that get on to more Urdu, there is an opportunity there. You could do a social media monitoring service and make money. So, you know, they all want to measure it. But again, you know, how authentic are you and what do you want to use it for? And when you measure it, it depends on what you want to do, that what you measure. So, you know, if it is, you know, over an issue, you might want to measure it against what's being mentioned. If it's something where you want people to talk about certain thing, you might then measure other keywords. So again, you have to go back to the source purpose. Do you want to use it to listen? Do you want to use it to engage? Do you want to use it to talk to your clients, etc.? A lot of this is in Charlene Lee's book, Groundswell, that whole technographics thing and what you want to do with your work.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, gentlemen, once we are talking of destroyer, these experts are telling me, maybe we are talking of a place outside Pakistan. What should have been ideal that we concentrate what is available to us. Do we need any disclosure? Do we have any law, any rule that if the product is reviewed, that you should be disclosing it side-wide? There are two types of disclosure.
But actually, Shahid said that's more of a discussion on ethics, and I know it's the monetization that people want to focus on. So, sure, I mean, I guess it would be at the discretion of the blogs, but I think good practice is always to perhaps go ahead and disclose. Always a good idea. Can we focus a little bit about SEO? Sorry, you have a question. Usman.
My name is Usman Latif and I'm from Lahore. Before we end, I thought I should
We're not ending now.
Okay, so before the blogging session ends, I would like you people, like the local representatives, to focus more on how to actually get business, like for blogging, for blog reviews from from the businesses that are not related to tech, because most of the times we end up talking about reviews for electronic products and reviews for businesses that are related to technology. But I believe there are not a lot of companies in Pakistan or probably even in the world. So there are other businesses as well. So how do you market yourself for the businesses that are not related to tech, and how to maybe reach out to the businesses, or how should they reach out to the bloggers?
Perhaps when you gave the examples of the traveler or the foodie or whoever. So how did that happen? Is perhaps what he's trying to ask, right?
Well, again, it depends on what you're selling, right? And like the video that I showed you, it's just two sisters that decided that they wanted to sell clothes. So in that video where they're dancing and sort of like fluttering eyelids, etc. out on you, which got a lot of hits. How much does it cost to produce that? Virtually nothing. One video camera, two girls prancing around, changing clothes. And if you saw that video, they kept changing clothes, just displaying their clothes. Make it sexy, make it entertaining, and that's how you push people there. You watch that video, if you're a teenager, you want to go in there, and then you want to check out the clothes. And once you check out the clothes, you might want to buy it.
Are you asking how bloggers should pitch to businesses, or the other way around?
Yeah, actually, I think the local representatives are aware of the situation in Pakistan, because people don't know about blogging. So that's my focus, is that how to teach or maybe make them aware of the usage of what blogging can bring to them or to their businesses, apart from the technology side. So that's my point, because we are we cannot go into the niches. In Pakistan, you cannot write a particular blog on clothing only, because you are landlocking yourself in terms of monetizing, because there is not much business available online, or they are not aware of at the moment. So that's my point, that how to make them aware, or how, if they are interested, how should we know, or how should the bloggers reach out to the businesses, like any marketplace, or where should we see the interest from the businesses. I hope I am clear.
Yeah, okay.
Please allow me to answer that. Very nice, very pertinent question, young blogger from Lahore. This is the biggest challenge we local bloggers have. The problem is that so far local content is not there, or there is a dearth of local content. If you create local content which people are filled with, and it is focused enough, that somebody will notice it and people will start contacting you and approaching you and coming you for the review. But abhi tak jo ho raha hai, we are just running on passions. We are just running, either it is anti-establishment or it is a personal blog.
Persuade these guys, these companies, to part with their money and give you some money to do social media for them. It's very difficult. Remember, I was saying that Pakistan is like Indonesia, 6-7 years ago. During those days, it was very, very difficult. We were trying to persuade people to get into social media, companies to get into social media, and they look at you and say, "What are you talking about? Facebook is what my daughter gets into, and serious people like me don't get into." Now, everybody wants to get into it. So, there's going to be a shift, there's going to be a change. At some point, even all these men above 50 will start to realize that social media is important.
Because they can find friendship online.
Only 2 of us here.
But then, you're not in the answer, no, and
Since I take a practical example to answer this first one. I think it's again coming back to push versus pull. So if you want to, if the brands want to push via bloggers, by hiring them, it's again probably not the right approach. I'll give you a great example. I'm sorry, I'm taking brand names, and those who are recording might probably want to pause it. But quickly speaking, Coke Studio is a great example which has its own stickiness, and people push it themselves or make it more viral. On the other hand, Pepsi's negative example of Lay's halal haram issue was also as viral and big and serious as this positive thing. So nobody pushed it, I mean, as a brand, but it got pushed. Even the Unilever issue, I'm sure you guys remember. So the point is, it's the content which attracts people, and then they automatically promote it. But you, as a service provider, should not be focusing on becoming a blogger for a brand or a product, even tech or non-tech. You should actually be focusing on offering consulting and personality, online personality or reputation management services to a brand, just by helping them listen to what is being talked about them and synthesizing them and then giving them such surroundings.
Just be a bridge, a channel. Nawaz?
My name is Nawaz. My point of view here is speaking to exactly what Usman was saying. The one way you can actually push a blog or let other people understand exactly what a blog or any other social media can do for you is act like an agency would. In other words, you would practically say, so why would anybody want to come to your blog to post an ad for that matter? Think of your blog as a newspaper. Why would you want to pitch an ad in a newspaper? It's not just because somebody, X number of people are reading it. It's also exactly how influential you are, right? So if you want somebody to place an ad to you, you got to really have to make sure that what your influence is, why it's gather all the stats, put it all together, and then show it to them exactly what the real value they'll be receiving. On another flip side of it is that once you have established that sort of relationship once, you automatically turn into what a consulting would be, just like
as Ong mentioned in this presentation, follow your passion and try to become an influencer. Don't try to chase brands or corporate companies to give you money to start blogging. Follow your passion and create content and become an influencer. That should be a target.
Like, don't try to change the meta gene to anything else. Because she's so fabulous.
I have a question.
Sure.
Actually on the note, so you mentioned on that Indonesia PayPal didn't work, but still people find out other ways of monetizing it. I just want to understand what were the ways and how the transactions were being processed outside PayPal or any other channels.
One popular way is bank transfers. And there's a big bank or BCA that everybody, is there. So you can transfer from one account to another. The other way is that they go offline, right? So there's physical payment. So it's not, Indonesia is a bit ahead of Pakistan and Gulf, but it's really not that advanced. So a lot of these payments are still like that.
Yeah, something just like right here is in Pakistan. I was just reading recently, day before yesterday, that Rosie started their e-commerce module, and they're based in Lahore. Somebody from a village near Quetta bought a digital camera on Rosie e-commerce site through Easy Paisa, Telenor's Easy Paisa. So that's another way in Pakistan. And in Pakistan, there is one more thing which is very popular, which is called COD, cash on delivery. So you probably get a 500 rupee token money via Easy Paisa for a 20,000 rupee laptop, and the rest you collect when you deliver the product. So these are both ways which are very kind of
Mobile banking is also it's on the rise, so that's also an option.
That's it.
Sorry, I think we still haven't addressed the question, which is, how do you persuade corporations that they should get into social media when they are virtually kafirs, they are Philistines when it comes to social media. And I think some of it is, number one, if you were to go up to a company and tell them, hey, hang on, I've searched the internet, this is what they're saying about you. They might go, oh wow, I didn't know that this was being said about me. What else can you tell me, and how do you do it for me? One thing which we do is we actually run workshops. We actually get them to pay us on social media. It's social media 101. Because one of the advantages that all of you onliners have is knowing how the online community works. This is so counterintuitive to corporations that you actually have got this great asset before you. corporations and a lot of actually even newspapers, they all live in a 1.0 world where the law of the jungle prevails. Law of the jungle, you've got most resources, etc. You win. You can advertise, you can pay people to endorse you, etc. You win. And then the 2.0 world, it's the law of the campfire, which you guys should be excelling. Law of the campfire, who comes out ahead in the campfire is the person that can tell the best stories, the most entertaining stories, gives you the best information, and tell all the horror stories so you get the girls to sit next to you. But
boys.
this is the guy that wins. And really, these are your assets. If you use this asset and go up to a corporation, this is how you persuade them.